Hey, it's Zem from Shrine Gaming, and I'm going to do my final review on World of Warplanes 2.0. I have actually finished a little over 100 games in 2.0, and having said that, I'm just going to discuss a few things that I've noticed. Uh, doing a little looky around here on the internet. After reading the forums, doing the YouTubers, their reviews and all that stuff. I get the frustration from the veteran players, the guys that have been with this game since the beginning. Um, the guys with 25,000 plus battles, been here since before 1.5 patch, the one that essentially killed the player base in the game. I get that frustration that they're having, being that they've spent a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money into this game uh, to play it, to understand it, how to win, and all that kind of stuff. Just to have the complete revamp of this game, and that's what it is, folks. This is not 1.9. This is a complete revamp of how World of Warplanes was. At the same time, and I'm sure I'll get flack for this, but the original mode was not very popular. And Wargaming is a company to make money and have players play their games. So, with 300 to 500 players on every night, and a grand total, I think I'd read somewhere around 3,000 players at any given time playing on the North American server during an entire day. Most nights, you had 300 to 500. Some events you might get 750 to 1,000, but the majority of the time, you're talking under 500 players a night. So not a popular game by no means. So with that said, the fact that they completely revamped it, rebranded it to a certain degree, and stuck it back out there, yeah, it's going to breathe new life into the game. That's just the way it is. The YouTubers, the popular YouTubers that have been posting videos on here, you read the comments, and you're like, oh wow, there's a certain degree of interest in the game now. Whether or not they've ever played the game, most of them never had played the game, or had not played the game in years, and then all now they've all of a sudden, wow, this is not a good, this is a pretty good game. Uh, you know, it is what it is. You can badmouth them if you want to. If you're a veteran player, you have the right to. I mean, like I said, you've been here since the beginning. You understand the game, how it's progressed. You've been through all the shit patches and all that kind of crap. But in the end, it was suffering. The game was failing because of low player population. So by revamping it and starting over, I guess you could say, they're trying to resolve that issue, which I applaud them for it. I mean, it's nice to have more players on in the game, but this is, and I'm going to say this is a make or break for this game. Whether or not they can keep the new players happy, that's going to entirely be up to Wargaming. Not that they're notorious for not fucking up. They do that on occasion. We've seen it in everything from World of Warships to World of Tanks. Very unpopular patches, at least in the opinion of the player. So with this renewed interest in this game, this next few patches are going to be pivotal for World of Warplanes, whether or not they can keep it rolling the way it is. As for the veteran pilots, I believe probably a 50%, probably, this is guessing, 50% are probably going to stay around, 50% might just quit. That's your choice. The game's changed, either you adapt to it or you don't. It's entirely your personal choice. So, with that said, I do enjoy the game, the new game mode. Uh, it's a little more interesting. It's obviously longer playtime that you did with the 1.9 and earlier, which were very short and brutal games compared to what they have now with the respawns and all that stuff. So, what we're gonna, I guess, what we have to look forward to the next 6 months is if they can keep this rolling, keep this renewed interest rolling in the game, and hopefully that they'll pick up new players and continue to advance the game. And I have probably not the veteran. I had 4K games before 2.0. Um, so I guess I wasn't entrenched as some of the other players with the 1.9. I still love 1.9. It was a great game for different reasons. And you'll notice in the gameplay that what I'm going to be showing afterwards here, some of the things I'm talking about. The changed flight mechanics, boost, the HUD display has changed. Uh, that in itself is the camera angles, a lot of little minor things, but a lot of the big things have changed. So it's going to be a relearning process for people. So it could be, or if you're new, a learning process, trying to figure out how this all works. And I'm also seeing, I guess after I play all three games: World of Tanks, World of Warships, and this game. I think you're going to see some things in here that are garnered from both the other two games, specifically speaking about objectives and whatnot, superiority points through holding capping objectives. But I think you're seeing some new things in here too, like the combat points and some of that other stuff that's going to. I have a feeling it's probably going to get crossed over into the other games, and so maybe this is a little bit of new, a little bit old for this mode, but it'll hopefully revitalize the game. I really do hope that this is going to make World of Warplanes kind of take off, from where they were since patch 1.5. I guess we're just going to have to sit and watch for the next couple months, maybe next year, to see how this rolls. So all that said and done, I guess the actual review of it. So the hangar, the interior hangar's actually changed. The view in here is different than than what we had normally had. I mean, Christ, they have a Zeppelin. Wow. Other than that, the actual user interface for the garage hasn't changed. Everything's where it's supposed to be at. This hasn't changed. I haven't lost any other airplanes. None of those kind of bugs. I have everything that I did before in my hangar that I did when I left. Same descriptions on the side. Obviously the user interface in the hangar is very similar to the one that's in World of Warships. Since this game came out before World of Warships, you can kind of see the Wargaming's progression here for that part of it. Tech tree hasn't changed, other than the fact that they've added these bomber classes that can be either won through finishing missions and gathering parts, or just simply buying them with your coupons, your little tickets that you get. So that hasn't changed. Hangar hasn't changed. Depot really hasn't changed. Everything that was originally about this game, serviced, upgrades, paint shop, all of this stuff hasn't changed from the pre 2.0 patch or pre 2.0 game. Combat, obviously, the missions have changed because the game modes have changed. We have the secret project now. That's where you have to assemble. I got a crate. I wonder what that. So I get to open a crate. Must have completed enough missions. I get to collect prizes. Sweet. And I get a piece for the. I got a piece for the Blenheim, I guess. Sweet. So I can order more loots or whatever. I can get that and get another loot crate, whatever. Or you can just simply win it. So that's part of the new secret project. You'll know more about that when you get into the specials. Once again, none of this stuff has changed. The combat reconnaissance, kind of a new thing. This is, I'm not sure how long this is going to go on, or if this is just a promotional product. We'll see. Tokens got the same, same as before. Slot and hangar, or 180 days or 30 days of premium account. That hasn't changed. So in general, like I said, the user interface in the hangar hasn't changed. You will notice in game that the HUD has changed, and I'm speaking along the lines of placements, and the fact that the consumables now are very similar to World of Tanks, in that they you have an 85-second cooldown and you can use them again. So yeah, that is a change in game. The guns don't seem to heat as much. I've noticed that. Maybe that's just me. And the boost builds faster, which does change some of the gameplay for some of these aircraft. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna have to play it more to really get the understanding of that. So that's actually in the load-in screen. You'll notice when you get into the game how the HUD, the user interface, has changed in game when you're actually playing it. I'm sure there'll probably be some issues with that. People are gonna have a problem with it. I still can't get the fucking bomber sights to show up on my on my ground attack planes, and I'm not sure why. I've changed the settings and I still can't get it to show up. So, like I said, it's new. There's probably gonna be little issues. We'll just have to deal with it. Yeah. So I will be bringing you 2 games. One in a tier 8 and one in a tier 7, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So we'll talk to you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed the preview or the gameplay, and I will be posting more games and whatnot at a later date, probably streaming some of this new 2.0, and you guys can see. So like I said, this is my review of what I think about this 2.0 change. So we'll see you guys. Match. Tier 8 multi-role, and I'm gonna have 1 game in a Corsair. So what I like about it so far, the pros of this, is obviously the brand new mode, the complete change of the game. It's always kind of fun to relearn everything and try to figure out how to win, that kind of stuff. It was been static pretty much for the last 3 years. This is to bring a little new life, or revitalize this game. But it's also a little bit frustrating because you're having to relearn something that you've been playing for better part of a year. So yeah, there's frustration involved there. And in the second video, you'll see some of my frustration peek through, and how upset I shouldn't say upset, pissed about the actual mode, and then that's more along the lines of what I'm going to be dealing with, what I had to do, and I still couldn't win it, just because of how the bots operate in the game. But that's going to be a little later on. Load up screen comes up. I do like this first part. I don't like the fact that I have to tab out to see my teammates and all that kind of stuff. I wish that stuff was all back up here on the
cover your allies, hit the enemy, and we shall
on
win.
the sidebars where they were originally. Just minor things that upset that I'm not real happy about. I typically, on these kind of games, I usually try to go for the forward airstrips. It seems to work a little bit better, being able to respawn and wherever you want it to respawn at. Problem is, I'll ping the map here. It's going to require somewhat, it needs teamwork to make this work, and I'm a solo pilot. Everybody else is a solo pilot, and it's just like playing tanks or anything else.
Get ready for action.
How
Let's go.
People don't like to work together. I'll fucking do it my whatever way I want to do it, right? That's the typical answer you get. So, heading to their base. To cap these points of interest in this game, you have to knock down the fighters that are defending that point, take control of the cap. These are the fighters I'm talking about right here. And once you do, it turns blue, right? And you start gaining the experience points from that, which leads to you whether or not you're going to win or lose. The more superiority points you gain, just like World Warships, the better off you are. And I got an enemy on my tail. That's kind of new though, actually, that they offered that. And I'm trying to knock out planes as fast as I can. Obviously, I still want to get this cap too, but we're being challenged by the enemy team. So, knocking these planes out will actually, like I said, help me gain control of this cap, as well as make some of these guys go back to garage and have to respawn. I do like the fact that they have, to a certain degree, changed the pipper. Makes it a little bit more interesting trying to get down on targets. Sometimes I get to the point where I start leading just a little too much. You know, it makes it a little more interesting to actually have to figure out the lead on these. And trying to keep on Jonathan's tail here. Finished him off, and I got 2 inbound attack planes here down here on the bottom. I'm actually going to go down and have to deal with that. Try to take these guys out. This is what I'm talking about, the AA, annoying as all hell. But let's see if we can take this cap as much as possible here. So we got 2 of these guys down here. One's actually a human pilot. And that's what I love about this aircraft. Those 30 millimeters really start to pommel the target. And it don't take long to knock those guys out. And we are coming back around on the ME-265, which is currently running away. We've got 2 points, which is excellent. And I don't want to go with the head-to-head with him, because he will wreck my day. Oh, the sheer amount of damage from that you take, module damage, is just ridiculous. Same way with these damn anti-aircraft guns, and you'll see me bitch about this in the other video too. You know, it's ridiculous how much damage you can take from AAs if you are actually attempting to hold this at one point or another. So we're back on to Jonathan as respawns. I'm going to see if I can get his butt knocked off. I'd really like to take this points, but I don't think I have the hit points to hang out with that AA. Nope. But, yep, destroyed by anti-aircraft air defense fighter because they popped up again. Oh, lovely. This is the problem I have with this game mode. The sheer amount of shit that's shooting at you. You know, not just the enemy pilots, but having to deal with, you know, AA. And that annoys me to no end. And once again, you'll hear it in the next video too. It is annoying that it's allowed to be that heavy. Like I said, this constant respawn of AA gets really annoying too. So now I'm going to be back here. I'm going to try to defend defend the airfield here. It's kind of in my opinion, probably the most important point in the game to try to keep a hold of is that that aircraft, that what am I trying to say here? That airfield. So knocked him out. Now I'm back down here on looking for targets here. F-94D. Got some guys here high flying. See if I can pop a shot into him.
Receiving reports about rapidly deteriorating weather conditions. Support will be unable to reach you. Do you read me? Over.
Oh, those pesky jet fighters. So fast. Not a whole lot. I can maybe get a little bit of lead on them. Didn't exactly work out for me.
Enemy bombers
We are
Don't let them reach
currently
their target.
keeping the airfield as much as possible. So now I'm really more
Stay
interested
alert,
in not
pilots. Large enemy force spotted over the airfield.
knocking out planes as fast as I can here. And
There's a
Kato,
heavy
you
storm
fuck.
Here. Unable to proceed.
Pulling around on him.
Return into base. Do you copy?
Finished him off, and now I got to deal with a. There he is. I've been looking for this guy. He's actually a human pilot. And I got his ass too. Alright, so one more. Kept the airfield. And what do we got here? We got an RB-47, 17, I'm sorry. That is that jet bomber that I was talking about earlier. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get the altitude. So I need to deal with the ground attack plane that is currently trying to kill my base. Yeah, he needs to go. Back down in on him. There he is. He's almost dead himself. I think I got this guy one other time already.
The enemy is launching rockets at us from the military base. Take action.
Oh yeah, lovely. And I lose the goddamn base. This is what's frustrating about this game mode, is the constant back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now I'm under AA, magically appeared out of nowhere, and there's nothing I can fucking do about it. This is what's frustrating about this game.
Victory is ours.
I mean,
We're waiting
yeah.
for your return.
We won, but the point is, why the fuck, you just lose it, and all of a sudden that's frustrating. That's annoying as shit. Yeah, hopefully they fix this. This could be an issue. At least for me, it's going to be an issue with the constant, surprise. You just lost that cap, and out of nowhere comes the AA. So we're gonna try. All right, guys, I'm back with the second game. This one's actually in a Corsair, the F4U4, this tier 7, and I'm going to go over through just a little bit more of the actual in-game play. And in the first video you see me in the Shinden, just actually playing the game. I'm not doing a whole lot of explaining, which is kind of my fault. Sorry about that. The point is to win by superiority points. Same if you've played World of Warships. If you're familiar with that, obviously you're going to be familiar with this. Capturing objectives. Unlike warships, these objectives actually have certain some of them have certain abilities. For example, the military base, if you capture it, it gets +3 superiority points, plus it launches a rocket at the enemy objectives, which makes them easier to take over. Okay, garrison, once again, that does gives you +3 superiority points. That's about it. So there's 2 of them here, 1 military base. Now the 2 air bases, these are interesting. So the air bases will allow you to either respawn, depending on what I think there's a difference between them. One of them will give you respawn, repair. What I mean by respawn gives you the choice of where to respawn, which becomes in pretty damn handy if you have one of your objectives is under attack and you're on the other side of the fucking map. So, that respawn's nice. So you can spawn closer, get into the battle, hopefully save it. Another part of it is repair. So it'll repair at least half your health. You'll see in the game where I actually go back to one of the air bases that we control, specifically this one right here, and you'll see me go back and I'll repair half my health. The other thing one of some air bases will provide is the ability to switch aircraft. You start out in a fighter or a multi-role, and you see that, okay, you know what, we need to start taking caps. Let's switch to a ground attack. More durable, more hit points. They can go in there, take the slugging, knock out the ground targets, and take over an objective. So yeah, my opinion, so far of what I've played, air bases, if you control air bases, it goes a long ways toward winning the game. Which is funny because you watch the fucking replay and no matter what I did, we held on to the air base for a very long time and we still end up losing the game. That is my issue with this, and I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do with it, and I don't know if this kind of game mode requires a fair amount of teamwork to be successful. And in the last video I said that, well, it's fucking it's not known for teamwork. So unless you're flighted and you're solo pilot, this can be very frustrating. I would like, and this is my thought, I would love to see if they can actually be able to flight with a bot. You always have extra pilots hanging out, you have your aircraft in your hangar. Hey, give us a chance that maybe we can use that AI or that bot, and we could fight with him. Fly your aircraft, fly your extra pilot laying around in the hangar. Maybe give us a little bit of chance. You can command the bot. That would be interesting. That would go a long ways toward helping you win this game if you're a solo pilot. Just an idea. Throw it out there. We'll see how it goes. So, capture the objectives. You still want to shoot planes down. You still want to keep them knocked out. I also have the issue too is with the before there used to be on both sides of the screen would be given the players listings, what plane they were flying and who the pilot was, and they just like in World of Tanks, World of Warships, they'd have that on both sides. They don't have that. You got to tab out to see that, unless of course I'm missing something that actually brings it up. I haven't really dived into that part of the deal. If there's a way to actually bring them up on the side, hopefully there is. If there isn't, whatever. What I would like to see if we could have those on the side was also, how many times an enemy pilot's been shot down, and how long it's going to take them before they respawn, if they're going to respawn at all. That information would be nice to know. Would kind of help with the actual gameplay. So I'm going to bring this game to you. This game was frustrating to no end.
Attention.
As much as I did, it just never seemed enough. I spent a lot of time chasing from one spot to the next, trying to cap objectives, win objectives, defend objectives, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out that well. And I don't know what else I could do. So at the beginning of the game, here I'm going to head toward my, off to the left you'll see the air base with the wrench symbol. That's the repair symbol. So if you control that and you need to repair during the game, that's where you go. I'm going to ping the map. Hopefully I have some takers to help me take that air base. I don't know if I remember if I said in the other map or other match how much I disliked the camera views. I wish it was the camera view was a little bit more mobile, where you zoom in, zoom out in the aircraft, zoom back as far as you can, that kind of stuff, like it was in the 1.9 patch, or the 1.9 version of this game. Those were, in my opinion, a little bit better of a view. So we are right now currently taking out the air defense fighters. We take them all out. There's a certain number you gotta take out, and we can start taking this base. You can, like I said, shortly as you can see, finally we take it out. The lock symbol comes up, so that means we have control of this airbase. So once we have control of this airbase, we will start getting the benefits of having the airbase, you know. And you can see now that we are gaining +3 every I think 7 or 8 seconds, or whatever it is. And this is the superiority points. Once again, familiar with World Warships, that's what it does. So once we've taken that, now we're going on to the next cap, which is the military base. Once again, this is purely air defense aircraft that we're knocking down to start taking control of the base. You'll notice now we have a red enemy fighter inbounds. He's, you know, the same thing they're going to be doing here. There's a couple more, now there's 4. They're trying to take this base as well. So not only do we have to deal with air defense, but we also have to deal with the enemy fighters. So keep pummeling these guys. You'll start switching targets here shortly to the actual enemy fighters, and trying to knock them out. And you know this ever-present amount of flak, right? And I said the last game, it's absolutely annoying to no end. And you'll see in this game what I'm talking about here shortly, why I find it so annoying. So enemy fighters are here. We're dealing with them. We have captured the base, but we're now defending it. At the same time, we have their fighters over our airbase. And this is the problem I have with being so team-oriented, having to defend, capture, defend, while at the same time your bots are all over the fucking place, or that guy that's you know, on the keyboard tabbed out watching Pornhub, and he's flying around in the fucking over there, you know, not anywhere close to actually know what's going on. You know, he has no situational awareness, doesn't care, he's just shooting shit. Yeah, you get those kind of players, which oftentimes the bots are better. As far as I'm concerned, they're just better 50% of the time over you. Maybe I'm jaded, I don't know. So yeah, I have the problem with the teamwork. You know, to make this mode successful. I do enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I find this entertaining. It is total arcade. It is totally about just shooting shit, which is fun. I mean, most people can't say that it's not. If you are familiar with the the 1.9 patch, you would know that most of those games were short and brutal, right? 2-3 minutes, yeah, sometimes 4 minutes. Very rarely do you ever get anything over 5 minutes. You know, they're very quick games. You could be dead literally in the first merge. You know, wow, 2 minutes in the game, you're dead. So yeah, this gameplay allows a little bit more a chance to play, you know, which is fine. You know, everybody has their thing. So yeah, I can't complain about the actual gameplay. You know, the flight physics have changed. You can obviously tell with like the boost and stuff like that. That has changed. Renewable consumables have changed. You know, the actual HUD has completely revamped. I mean, I do have some issues with that HUD. I'm not real fond of the radar version. Instead of having an actual map like you have in World of Tanks, World of Warships, and the way World of 1.9 used to be, which was a map in the corner over here that would give you an idea. This is, I'm not a big fan of it, but once again, minor things, right? So, we still hold that base over there. I've lost the base that I was over. That's gone. And now I'm having to defend this base again. I was talking earlier about the fact that there is a wrench over here, and you'll see me come flying in here, and the little wrench on the bottom turns from red to blue, and of course you'll see me once again regain health. So, like I said, owning these air bases, there's several benefits to it. Alright, besides that point, now I'm moving back on over to deal with this red cluster that is over the
Hang in there.
base that I just, the objective that we had just won, and I just lost again. So once again, back to in on the enemy fighters. The bots are all over the place. I got 3 bots to the south. They're wandering around. I have a little bit of help here with 1 or 2 bots here, maybe a human, I'm not sure, but it doesn't really matter. We still have to win this point. So, back in on the ME410, this is actually human, just trying to finish him off. I'm taking a lot of damage from his rear gunner, and that's the problem with the heavy fighters, with the rear gunners. They can do a lot of damage.
There's a heavy storm here.
Finally, have taken this base, and now we are busy trying to finish this bunch off. We got a BF-109F. I'm going to try to get on him, knock him out, hopefully completely defend this. And as you notice, as we're defending this cap, I'm doing everything I could possibly do. They're at my airbase, and I have no choice either to leave this one and possibly lose it to save that base. Yeah, and my biggest pet peeve, as much as I enjoy the actual gameplay, there is a fair amount of, I think, fine-tuning that needs to be done with this. It has potential. I get it. People are still upset about this. I said this at the beginning of the video. Yes, I get it. It's not the same, and it's going to require you to adapt and change and relearn how to play the game. So now I've lost the airfield. Now I'm back over here. Hopefully, maybe trying to liberate it, but there is an epic crap ton of red planes here. And there's not a whole lot I can do because I don't have a single blue one relatively close to me to help me out. So I'm gonna get shot down. Most of my planes have been either knocked out or they are currently being respawned. So there's nothing I can do about it. I die, right? And yeah, it's game over. It's frustrating because of the constant jumping from point to point, objective to objective, trying to hold, trying to cap. And this might have to be more along the lines of because not quite understanding, that there is a strategy meta to every one of these games. Is trying to figure that out with this new game. And I think after playing a few more games in this thing, my take on it is to capture as many of those points as you can uncontested, and then just defend as long as you can until you knock enough of their players out where they're having long respawns, giving you the ability to maybe go after another one of their caps. But once again, this requires a certain amount of teamwork because you cannot control the bots. They will just simply fly off and leave you to defend a certain cap. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to relearn how to play this game, or at least coming up with some sort of meta.
This is our last
So
stand.
I, from the combat points that I received,
Go back to base.
at 11,000, almost 12,000 combat points, I did what I could, and I still cannot pull off the win. Once again, just learning, still trying to figure it out, and hopefully they'll make some changes. The actual game's still a little buggy, and it has some issues. I've had disconnects and whatnot, but then again, it's a new patch, so there will be some issues. There are always issues every time there's a patch. So hopefully that they're going to eventually get that fixed, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. All in all, after watching watching these two games, I've enjoyed the play. I can't complain about it. It's just different than what the last version of this game was. So it's going to take a while. It's going to require more playing and more time, and figuring out how the mechanics have changed. The flight mechanics have changed. Will be interesting. If you can pull off some of the old zoom and booms, that kind of stuff, and keep working at it. And that's actually my final thoughts on this new game version 2.0. So keep in track.